Welcome to this Kurukshetra magazine of the September 2020. It is all about agriculture. We will see in this lecture what were the issues with the Indian agriculture, issues with the farmers, what percentage of expenditure the government used to do on the agriculture with comparison with the other developed nation, what percentage of the GDP has been spent on our agriculture with comparison with the other nations, and why our farmers are doing suicide if the government is spending that much amount of money in the agriculture field, and whether the government is spending or not, we will see in this lecture. So all the topics have been taken from the Kurukshetra magazine that was published in the month September 2020. So what is the strategy that we have to boost India's agriculture not within the nation but throughout the globe? India is basically an agrarian country. Why agrarian country? We have a fertile land, we have a plain land that is in the Deccan regions and the northern India and part, and we have a monsoon type of climate which gives rainfall every year. So we have an agrarian based country. In spite of that, we do not spend even 1% of the GDP on our agriculture. So agriculture accounts for a vital part of the Indian economy and accounting for the 17% of the gross value added. And what is GV I have explained in the economics lecture. You can go through it. Right now, just take this data as for comparison, or just take a conclusive idea, like we have a 17% of the gross value added, that is whatever the value we are adding, that is 17% in our the value added in our economy of the country. Only 70% is expended on the agriculture. Then 40% of the employment is in the agriculture sector, and 11% of India's trade with the rest of the world is through agriculture. So these data are not less, these data are very huge, and in spite of that, the percentage of expenditure with the GDP is very less. So hurdles to agriculture export. What are the hurdles that we are facing with the export in the agriculture phase? Right now, due to corona pandemic, all the countries are moving towards a safe side. They do not want to import products from other nation. Thus, this lack of import to the other nations, and all country want to export from their country because they want money, they want to earn money, they want to revive their economy. This creates one of the problem to the agriculture sector of India. Another issue with the agriculture sector is the reverse migration. Reverse migration is that the people who were working as a labor in the another state of the country has moved back to their hometown, where they don't have a work to do, they don't have a land to work on, and ultimately this reverse migration is also become a problem, hurdles to the agriculture export. Like suppose we had a large farmers who have laborers in their field, and ultimately what happened, due to pandemic these laborers moved back to their hometown, like if they belong to the state of Bihar and all, so they moved back to the respective states, and ultimately this reverse migration has caused hurdles to the agriculture exports, because these laborers, if they work in the land also, they are lagging behind the laborers, and if these laborers were working in the export industries also, then this is a problem of export economy sector, and we are not earning money through it. Another issues with the agriculture export is the fall in the foreign direct investment in the agriculture machines. So due to this pandemic situation, we have a fall in foreign investment in the agriculture sector, like related to the machines like threshers, tractors and all. And we have a trade barriers, as I have said, that all the countries right now due to this pandemic only want to export, they don't want to import. That's why we have a trade barriers right now. And further, the other countries who does not want to dump other countries product into their country, they are implying import duty on all the imports from the other nations. So these import duty is what? These import duty is a kind of barrier that is creating issues for the farmers to export from our country to the another country. So these are the challenges with the agriculture export right now. So what will the way forward? What we have to think with the future aspects with the global agriculture trade sector? The first thing that what government can do, government can lower the price of the produce. And how can the government lower the price of the produce? By supplying the seeds, fertilizers at the low cost. Recently in the current affair, zero investment plan has been come in the agriculture sector, where farmer will use completely organic product. And we will see 5 methods are there for doing that zero agriculture based product. In this one will be like, we will introduction of some earthworms. In the some steps you will see mulching was introduced. Mulching will be like spread the unwanted grass over the land, which will help in checking the evaporation of water from those lands. So the need of water to the land will be less water will be wasted. That crops will not need much of water. So these kinds of methodologies should be taken to reduce the price of the product. Organization production should be there, that 2 or 3 farmers should come together and they can grow the crops in a different organic way. Or if they are using one fertilizer to their one land, so they can come together, organize together, and they will form a group. Like suppose if a particular land is using urea completely, and the same land beside that field is using another ammonia and all in that field, so what will happen? That will create a chemical issues on that land. Like one land is completely dependent upon urea, another land is completely spread fertilizers like ammonia in that field. So we have to make that balance. So for that, organized production can help those issues. Farmer producer organizations like better bargaining powers and collective lower the price of the produce can happen. So if they have a better organization, then they can have a power of bargaining. Like earlier we had an APMC, right now also we have a APMC, where mandis are there, where farmer will go and sell their product. But in the APMC, farmer most of the cases lost the bargaining power. So if the farmers had a organized groups within the farmers, so they can have a power, they can bargain with those within that mandis. Okay, so how can we lower the price? Like we can buy seeds, fertilizers collectively, and this will help in lowering the price. Linkages from farm to market, trade agreements should be there, better trade agreement should be there, so that we can reduce the price of the product. Lower the tariff and import duties from the other nations. So we should have some international cooperation with other nations, we should have some discussions with those nations, because if all the country want to export, so no country will import. Just think logically. Like a country want to export, so where he will export? Some countries should be ready for import only, and if all the countries said that I will export, I will export, so ultimately they are going to export that product nowhere else. So to revive the economy, all the countries should come together, should have a discussion with that pandemic to tackle with this pandemic, and so that they can revive their economy. And for reviving the economy, both import and export should be encouraged. And ultimately India is also focusing on self-made products. So this is one of the good initiative within taken the India, like all the countries don't want to import the products, so that's why India has said that we will try to manufacture maximum kind of products within the nations only. And certain initiatives has also been taken in the defense sector, where our defense will not import certain types of machinery or bullets and all required items, defense related items, they will not import from other nations, they will manufacture within the India. Okay, so this kind of a strategy will help in reviving the global agriculture trade. Now we will see prioritizing agriculture and its research need. When we come into the research in the agriculture field, it is very less. The money spent on the agriculture research is also very less. We will see modified crops, genes modified crops. I have explained all those in my on my channel. There is a separate video lecture for that. You can go and watch that lecture. So agricultural sector employs more than 50% of the population, as I've explained in the first slide only. So it contributes around 14 to 15% of the Indian economy. So you can consider this is not a very less amount, this is a very huge percentage. So there is a need of increase in the research activity in the agriculture sector. Why research activity should be there? Because we have to increase the production, reduce the wastages, making irrigation more efficient, and other issues. Like farmers always want to increase the production. And how will you increase the production? It should not be like that increase the input cost. Input cost means give more high yielding seed varieties and all. Because ultimately if the farmer is going to buy high HYV seeds, high yielding variety seeds, then the cost of the seed is also high, and whether he is going to get profit or not, he don't know. So that's why we have to do research in this sector, and ultimately the research should be like the input cost should be less and output should be high. It should be different. So, and we have to go through the process, like we should choose those cropping strategy, like where we should go for less irrigations and all, like use mulching. Mulching will be like put the straws or other grasses on the land, on the open land, and ultimately the water will be retained, will not be allowed to evaporate easily, and after a period of time that mulch will also be act as a will also help it increase the fertility of the soil. Okay, so Indian Council of Agriculture Research Institute ICAR and Central and State Agriculture University CSA and Krishi Vigyan Kendra KVKS are the institute research in India. These three are responsible for it, but the kind of research they should do, it is not coming as a result. We don't see that much of result in the research field. We should encourage our students to go and do more research as much as they can do. But in the research sector, we see very less number of students going there. So need of agriculture research in India, why it is important? So importance of agriculture in India is that we need to increase the productivity of the soil. Why it is doing research? Because of low productivity. We have a low productivity on the land, so we need high productivity. Varying condition in the different parts, like India is a vast land where they receive different rainfall pattern in the different months, and every year it changes. So we should have a better weather forecasting agencies. As per now, we have a multiple agencies. Two agencies are responsible for weather forecasting and all. But so we have two agencies are responsible for weather forecasting and flood kind of situation. So they together merge, and the data is given, and they give a data related to the flood. But for the weather forecasting, there is only one agency. So we have to make that weather forecasting agency utilized efficiently, so that for every year we should be able to predict what kind of rainfall this area will receive, and as per that condition the crop should be grown in that region. So these all are the areas of research only, and after that ultimately the productivity of that land will increase. Because if suppose a farmer came to know that this year their area will not receive much rainfall, so ultimately they will be ready with the irrigation facilities or the high yielding varieties, so their crop will grow very much, and ultimately this time the input cost that they will input in that production of the crop will be utilized, because they know, because this year the rainfall will be less, so they have to give some more input in that field. And if government is subsidizing it, then it will be very good. And let us suppose in a season where the rainfall is coming very high, so farmers, if the weather forecast agency will forecast earlier and tell them that this month this area will receive high rainfall, so ultimately farmer will be ready, they will not be bothering about the irrigation facilities. So here in this case the input cost will be reduced. And let us suppose if the farmer is not knowing that this month if they are going to receive rainfall much or not, so ultimately they will be ready with all the irrigation facilities, so the input cost is there with them. Okay, so that kind of mechanism should be there, that kind of research is required. Agriculture led economic recovery is required for India. As it increase production, farmer will get more income, and it will lead to increase in demand in rural India, and money will then spend in the market. Actually, due to this pandemic, the economy is stuck. For that, to revive the economy, we have to give money to the farmers, and if the money is present with the farmers, ultimately in the rural areas money spending in the market will increase. So for the rural area, in this way market will revive. Similarly, more income to urban workers will lead to increase the demand in urban area, and ultimately manufacturing will increase. Like suppose if you have money rupees 100 right now, so you might save rupees 10 and you will spend rupees 90 in the market. So this market had received rupees 90, and the next month, like if you bought 90 packets of Maggi, so it means there is a 90 packets of Maggi shortage in the market right now, because you already bought that 90 packet. So that Nestle company will make Maggi noodles, 90 Maggi noodles again. So it is doing what? It is reviving economy. Money coming in the market is coming. So it will, this demand, when the demand will increase, then company will increase the supply too, and this will help in reviving the economy. So how the demand will increase and supply will increase, and how this it relates to the that is inflation kind of situation and all, we will see all those things in the economy lecture. But right now we are talking about with the respect of economy, reviving the economy. That's why we want to increase the demand in the market, and ultimately when the demand will increase, the supply with the manufacturing sector will also increase, and the economy will ultimately revive. So what is the way forward with the prioritizing agriculture and its research need? So way forward is that higher spending should be there. Generally India spends very less in agriculture research. As a percentage of GDP, India's expenditure of agriculture in 2012 to 14 was 0.4%. Other developing nations like Brazil even spend 1.8%. That is close to 2%. We are not even close to 1%. It is not even 0.5. We are 0.5. We can round it to 1. No, it is 0.4% only. Brazil is spending around 2%. Other developed nations spends 3% of their GDP in the agriculture. In the research of the agriculture and all. So that is required. Customized crop-based research should be there. That is, as per the requirement or need, customized research should be there. It should not be like that we are doing on cereals type of crops or we are doing pulses type of crops. No, it should be like as a custom basis. Like right now in the coming market, that demand will increase, so we can move to the X product and we can do research on that product, that how we can increase the productivity of that crop. Okay, so as per the requirement or need, that is customized crops. What is this customized crop? As I've explained right now, same thing is written here. As per the requirement or need, or focus on non-food grain sector like vegetables, fruits, pulses, millets. Improve the nutrition intake. Like customized food, like if we are not going for the crops, so we can move to the vegetables and all. Nutritional intake, increase the nutritional intake kind of situation in the market. This kind, even if you see right now, if you have one stall where is written organic product, organic vegetable, you will see people coming to buy your food very easily. And even if the price of the product is high also, people will buy it. So it means that there is a demand of organic product in the market. That's why we are saying that we need to customize crop based research. Further linkages to nutritional requirement of the people, like biofortification of crops, enriching the nutritional capacity of crops. Further, we need some more technological interventions like soil health card. Like farmers will every year they will get soil health card, as what kind of fertilizer this soil of their land required. Because like suppose if a particular land has already have a potash and farmer is not aware of that, and again this year he is giving potash and potash and potash and all, so ultimately what will happen? Its crop will fail. So that's why there is a need of soil health card kind of situation. Farmers should every year they should be aware to take soil health card of their land, and as per the report of that card they should use the fertilizer on that land if they want to use fertilizer. Otherwise we have a separate method in the organic options also, like cow dungs, we can use cow dungs and all. Lines are required, so there is a separate section, separate lecture for this also. Apart from that, it was given in the Yojana magazine. I will explain it also in the coming session. Okay, so biofortification of crops, as explained, need to inculcate agri research by private companies due to limitations of the government companies due to various responsibilities and all. Okay, so this was all about the prioritizing sector and its research. And that's why we need to prioritize agriculture and its research, because the kind of economy dependent upon the agriculture, that's why we want to prioritize agriculture. And further it needs research. The kind of expenditure, the kind of money spent as per the percentage of GDP in India is very less if we compare with the other developed nations or even developing nations like Brazil too. So that's why there is a need of research in this sector. So strengthening human resource in agriculture supply chain. So what is agriculture supply chain? Agriculture supply chain is nothing but from production of the crop to sending to the market, and the whole thing required is known as supply chain. Like the whole process for agriculture produce that being taken to the market, and from there various places like cold storage, food processing center, packaging and all, whatever things is required to make your product sell in the market, all things will come under agri supply chain. Even after selling the product, if there is a need of some other chain, it will all consider under the agriculture supply chain. So through this supply chain, no product will be wasted in between, like if we have a good agriculture supply chain. Right now I have explained in the video lecture, you can go through it, the three important agriculture bill passed by the government in the 2020, which was a controversial also, but it was in the favor of farmers. So you can go through the lecture. I have explained the what are the benefits for it and what is the drawback for it. So from that only, in that lecture I have explained that India have moved from the APMC. Like earlier it was in the APMC, it was like the farmers were strict to sell their crops in the designated mandis only. Now through the ENAM portal, National Agriculture Market, the farmer can sell their product throughout the country. How? They can click the picture of their produce, they can upload on the ENAM portal, and ultimately the buyers from the wholesale buyers and all from whole the India, they will click on, like it is like online Flipkart and Amazon kind of app where they will buy it, and logistic kind of things will be taken care, and the farmer can sell their product to that place. Like farmers of Bihar are selling the product in Assam, in Delhi. Earlier it was like designated mandis were there in the APMC, and farmers used to go there, and the peoples, that the mediator and all, they will buy those products. And in that case the issue was cartels were formed. Cartels is like the bargaining power farmers lost there, because cartels were formed, like the grouping of the people were there in the APMC. They will say like to the farmers that we will take your rice at rupees 20 per kg only, and all were have already discussion with them. So farmers don't have a choice to bargain with them. So these were problems with the APMC, which was overcome by through the ENAM portal, National Agriculture Market. And in this way the agriculture supply chain was maintained and strengthened, and we have to work more upon it. The Agriculture Education Division of ICAR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, is involved in strengthening and streamlining of higher agriculture education systems to enhance the quality of human resource. And benefits of improved supply chain is like losses can be controlled and cheaper goods can be produced. Further can ensure all the reliable supply of goods. Like if you strengthen the supply chain, if the farmers have found organization, so if they are storing large quantity of foods in one storage, they will get some benefit, they will get some discounts, or they will get some less transport costs and all. So that's why we have to strengthen agriculture supply chain. So I hope you have understand this lecture. I have given the best. Please like and subscribe. Your subscription is a form of payment for me. If you have any suggestions, if you want any on-demand video lecture, please feel free to ping on my Twitter handle. Thank you.